ABCs of King Louis XIV.
A is for Almighty. King Louis XIV is considered the forefather of bringing France into a progressive era, which included progressions in art, medicine, surgery, aesthetics, and through his political victories he became the most powerful monarch of his time. He became known to everyone as the Sun King.
B is for Badass. Not only did he dismiss his court when he was assuming power, King Louis ruled for over 50 years in which he transformed France into the envy of all of Europe. Instead of importing things from other countries such as Italy, it was producing them. Sculpting, painting, and textile productions all became domestic during his rule. Thanks to King Louis XIV, the people of France were able to represent their own country as they became the ones setting the trends in art and fashion as they still do today.
C is for commissioning. King Louis XIV commissioned many buildings during his reign. He commissioned hospitals for war veterans, for the general public. He also commissioned the Great Building of Versailles, which set the aesthetic value of France way higher than other countries.
D, E, and F stand for defining. The Sun King's rule was definitely defining, especially when it came to religion. Religion had always been an important part of French history, yet when King Louis XIV took power, he played a very important role in Catholicism and how it was portrayed in France. Even though he was progressive in many places, King Louis was not open-minded to religion. He declared war on Protestants and established Catholicism as the official religion of France. This limitation on religion stood as a sour note with some French citizens when they were talking about religion during the French Revolution. This led to it being abolished and a freedom of religion to be established, which leads to the most secular country in the Western world today, that is France.
G. G is for God. King Louis is known for depicting himself as a god figure in many paintings and works of art throughout his reign. A popular piece is one found in Notre Dame in which Mary and Jesus are depicted as his mother and him. The letters H and I represent the high that France was on in the time of King Louis XIV's reign. Not only becoming one of the most powerful countries in Europe, France also became a lead in many different aspects, including its own art scene in which an Academy of Art was established, and also in surgery, where surgeons were able to become more powerful than doctors, which was unbeknownst in the time. The letters J, K, and L stand for the gist of knowing Louis. Even though Louis was a great monarch, he was an absolutist monarch, which meant that he felt he had divine power to rule over his people. As an absolute monarch, he was the head of the state, which meant anyone who spoke out of line or didn't follow his rules would face a grave punishment. Rights, such as freedom of press, freedom of speech, and freedom of religion, were all limited during Louis XIV's reign. Letters L, M, N, and O stand for lots of money, no opinion. Even though the people of France were paying taxes to fund the wars that King Louis had with Spain, with Holland, the building of Versailles, the building of hospitals, the remodeling of Notre Dame, they had no opinion in their country. They had limited rights in what they could say, what they could write, or what they can do in relations to the king. Basic rights were forever limited until the French Revolution, when people were fed up and got tired of this ruling. The letters P, Q, R, S, and T stand for Pourquoi règne sur tout, which in French means why reign over all. King Louis XIV believed that he had the power over everyone, thus giving himself the nickname the Sun King. Now, as a Sun King, he oversaw all, and even though he brought France to his glory, he is forever remembered in history as being a tough ruler who cared only about bettering France, in his opinion, to what was the best for the people, even though sometimes people were starving in the city when he was building vast, lavish buildings to show off the French society. The letters U, V, W, X, and Y stand for unparalleled views with Zenic yield, meaning that King Louis was able to see beyond what France had to offer. He was able to see, create, and come up with a beautiful palace that not only put France on the map in his time, but is still talked about today as one of the most lavish and beautiful places on earth. Finally, Z. Z stands for zenith. Zenith is defined as the peak a celestial object reaches. Properly named the Sun King, Louis is the peak of all kings in France. After him comes the downfall of France in the rule of King Louis XV and XVI. Notably, the French Revolution occurs in the rule of King Louis XVI, being at the peak of royalty, leaving behind a legacy that is forever talked about and still be noted today in history as one of the best monarchs of his time. Overall, King Louis's rule not only set limitations on the freedom of the people, but set the spark for later on in the French Revolution for the people to revolt against a monarchy and establish their own rights. Today, many countries still fight for their rights with a government that tries to control them, such as King Louis tried to control his people. As presented to you, King Louis was a ruthless monarch who controlled the people to get his gains and to better his country. Today, many people still do the same, except many people today try and speak out and protest. Yet, as little as they try, or as much as they try, they can be silenced by our government. Everyone has an obligation to study, to learn, and to better educate themselves to be able to look forth for the best for their government, their people, and themselves.